Today on Indie Autopsy, I want to talk about the tariffs that the Supreme Court struck down. So the Supreme Court struck down Trump's tariffs 6-3, which you may think, well, it's going to bring some relief. Lower prices are going to come back. Things are going to be cheaper. However, Trump turned around the next day and put a 15% blanket tariff tax on all trades coming into the United States. So the percentage is cheaper than the previous. For an example, if you had a $20 item purchased from China, and under the tariffs that Trump had, the emergency tariffs, the landing cost would be about $29 for that $20 item. And now with the 15% tariffs, it's going to be $28. So the 5% reduction in tariffs only equated to about $1 savings. After the Supreme Court said his tariffs were illegal, the next day he put a 15% tariffs on all imports, which lasts for about 150 days. And then they would have to be approved by Congress. However, those 15% tariffs are probably not going to last either. The strategy is to put these in place, bridge the gap between the 15% tariffs to what is called the 301 tariffs. So what he's trying to do is buy time for the 301 tariffs. 301 tariffs are tariffs, they are legal. They investigate trade practices. So he's trying to buy more time to investigate trade practices between other countries. With the 301 tariffs, there are anywhere between 7.5% to 100%. And all of them are from China. I think there's $79 billion worth of tariffs, and $77 billion fall under the 301 tariff. So all of them basically are posed on China. And by giving himself some time with the 15% tariffs to do some investigations with other countries, then that will probably expand later. So right now, for example, from China, you have the 301 tariffs that average at about 25%. And then you have these new tariffs at 15%, which is about 40%. And what we should be looking for is different countries to source our products from right now. An up-and-comer is Vietnam. They're basically becoming the new China, and they're moving more towards industrialization like China was about 30, 40 years ago. India is a good choice as well, and other countries across the globe, because the 301 tariffs are just affecting, again, mostly China. So when you have the 15% tariffs, all the other countries, majority of other countries, don't have the 301s underneath, which is creating a big gap between those tariffs. So sourcing from other countries is going to be a lot cheaper. The 301 tariffs are not going to go away. They've been there since the Biden administration. And so the question is, are companies going to be refunded since these tariffs were struck down as illegal? Well, the Supreme Court said they were legal, but they didn't say what action to take afterwards, whether they had to be refunded. There's 2,000 companies, big companies, suing the federal government. And that was probably going to take some time, probably some years, to go through the system. And I highly doubt that small businesses like you and I are going to receive anything from these. I saw somewhere on a presser that FedEx may issue some refunds, but that's only if they themselves get refunded from the federal government, and I doubt that'll happen. So you and I, small businesses, we're not going to see our money come back that we've had to pay from imports. And of course, the consumer, which is everyone, is not going to see any benefit from it either. So at the end of the day, the big companies like Walmart, Target, they're going to actually they're going to come out with a little bit more money at the end of the day because they'll end up getting refunded from the tariffs they had to spend. So that'd be just money in their pocket, and it won't go to consumers. So again, the main takeaway here is to diversify your sourcing. Uh, Move away from China. Try places like Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico, India, and see if you can't source what you need from there. So take a look at your highest selling items, things you move the most. See where you get those from, see where you get your components from, your ingredients from, your materials from, and take a look at other countries. Go online, take a few minutes to see where you can source these from. Right now is a good time because you have some negotiating power, uh, but that'll go away later. So try to be a first mover, or at least don't be the last mover, to make sure you get the best deal possible. Right now, the tariff situation is very hard to follow. It's very chaotic. Tariffs come on, tariffs go off, tariffs come on, and you don't know exactly how that affects your bottom line. I hope this video helped. I tried to boil it down as simply as I could without being too complicated, without having too many numbers thrown at you, because I've watched a lot of reports and your eyes start to glaze over after a while. The main point is these tariffs really, the tariffs being struck down and these new tariffs coming back on really didn't affect anything as far as your landing costs from China. Try sourcing from other countries and don't wait too long, because if you wait too long, then your negotiating power is going to go away. You won't be getting the best deals because everyone's going to start going to these countries as well. So prices will go up because of the demand. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time here on Indie Autopsy.